All right, this is my 2016 Infiniti Q50 Red Sport 400 all-wheel drive review. Wow, that's a mouthful. I've had the car for just over a year. I brought the car December 23rd of 2017. The car had 16,000 miles on it. It had a build date of, I believe, October of 2016 build date. So the car was almost just a tad a year old when I got it. I brought the car a little differently than most people buy cars, you know, and I'm gonna explain that. A little more risky what I did, you know, but it ended up saving me a lot of money in the process. And I'm gonna go through that in the next segment. A little info about me as far as cars. I've had a 2005 G35X. I've had a 2010 G37X. I've had a 2011 M37X. And then currently have a 2012 QX56. And then my Q50 back there. So I've been a total of 5 Infinitis in the past 10 years for me. And I didn't really try to do that on purpose. It always just happened that way because Infiniti just keeps turning out to be the best bang for the buck. And so I keep buying them. And also I'm gonna go through maintenance and repairs that I've done to the car. I'm gonna talk about what I like, what I don't like, stuff I think Infiniti could have did a little bit better. And then I'm gonna give you my future plans for the car. So hopefully this will help you if you're thinking about purchasing this car, new or used. Hopefully I can illuminate some of the stuff that you may like a lot or dislike, but hopefully, you know, this review maybe gets you into Infiniti because I like the Infinitis as you can see. All right, let's talk about my buying experience. Most of my Infinitis have all been brought used. You know, no more than 2 years old, 3 years old. You know, they're usually certified pre-owned. And then my G37X, I brought that brand new and kept that for about 8 years. And before I got my Q50. So with the Q50, I test drove it, you know, when it first came out, the 14 and the 15, but it still had the VQ37 VHR engine. So I had a G37, so it was like, okay, I like the way it looks, I like the interior, but still got the same engine, so it didn't really pique my interest other than, oh, that's nice. But then 2016, they came out with the VR30, the twin turbo engine, and I test drove it. I was like, wow, now this is good enough for me to think about wanting to make a trade or sell my car or something. But as I'm always saying, I've never really jumped too much for a car. I always you know, play it laid back. So for about a year, I just casually looked. You know, I'll be on all the different car websites and casually looking. Then I came across this blue one you see behind me. The pictures were immaculate. Interior, exterior picture, immaculate. I was like, wow, this, and it had every option that I wanted. It was set up as if I went and brought the car new. I was like, okay, all right, this is just too good to be true. So I did, you know, you go and do your VIN check. I do the VIN check and it comes up as a lemon. I'm like, oh, I knew it. There's no way I'm gonna find the color and the options and all-wheel drive. You know, I live in the South and all-wheel drive. And no way. I said it had to be something. But that car just kept calling me. So one of the days we're up at my sister and brother-in-law's house, and the dealership that the car was at happened to be no more than about 15 minutes from their house. So I was like, let's just call the dude. Let's at least find out why it's a lemon so I can get this car off my mind. So I call up the dude, and he goes, I go, yeah, I did the VIN check on the car, and it says that it's a lemon. Can you tell me why it's a lemon? And he goes, car's fine. You know, it's a, foreign guy. Car's fine. Car, nothing wrong with car. Nothing wrong with car. Well, why is it showing up as a lemon? And then he goes, hold on. And he comes back about 10 minutes later, and he goes, car had a defective screen. Defective infotainment screen. That was it. They replaced it. Car's fine. I'm like, okay. I was like, you got paperwork from Nissan that shows that? And he goes, yes. And I'm like, all right. And I tell my wife, well, I gotta at least look at this car. If it was just a defective infotainment screen, I gotta at least take a look at the car. Because the price, I think I'm a show it on the screen. The price for a 1-year-old car, which is too good to be true. And I was like, I gotta at least look at it. So I get to the dealership, and he pulls out the official Nissan paperwork, which I'm gonna show you right here, and read it, and it says alleged non-conformity. The customers were saying that my car has DAS, the direct adaptive steering, steer by wire, and he was saying that it was steer erratic, and that the screen was broken, and I guess New Jersey got a more lenient lemon law, and he was able to get Infiniti to buy back the car. And then, so I'm looking through the notes of what the engineer put, because when you buy back a car, they send the car to engineering, and the engineers have to look at it to see if it's, something actually wrong, and they have to put it on the paperwork. So if the car gets resold, the customer gets to see exactly why the car was considered a lemon. So I'm looking at the engineering notes, and engineering notes says customer states erratic steering, and it actually, for people that don't know, I'm an engineer also, and we're not really supposed to say user error, but they actually stated on there that it was user error. Engineering checked out the car was fine, and that the screen was replaced. So I'm like, wow. I'm looking for something else, on there, maybe some other little small note, nothing. Then I scroll down a little bit farther in that paperwork he showed me, and I'm gonna put it up on the screen, and it shows that if the customer buys this car, it retains full remaining factory warranty. So keep in mind, my car is only a year old, 2016, at the time I'm buying it, with 16,000 miles, and it's gonna have factory warranty, but it's gonna get severely discounted because it's considered a lemon, at least in New Jersey. So I still a little skeptical, and I go and do more further VIN searching, and I say, well, let me see, can I find the window sticker? And the only way you usually can find window stickers is on certified pre-owned cars. So I was like, let's see what happens. I put the VIN in, the window sticker pops up on the CPO site. So to Infiniti, this car is considered certified pre-owned. So I'm like, okay. And I test drive the car does fine. And strangely, I go back in there, and typical salesman thing. They were trying to lowball me on my trade for my G37. So that actually pissed me off, and I didn't really need a car. So I walked away from it. I was like, whatever, and walked away. Went out to dinner, or was it brunch? It was dinner or brunch with my wife, and my wife goes, you want that car. It's still under factory warranty. If anything does go wrong, it's still under factory warranty. What do you got to lose? And I literally go back that day and call him and go, I'm coming to get the car. And he's like, what? I'll say, yeah, I'm coming to get the car. And then when we get there, I go, thank my wife. I was like, write it up, we get in the car. And the rest is history. All right, let's talk about maintenance and repairs on my Q50 so far after a year. Remember, my car was considered a lemon, you know, because of the screen getting replaced and the guy being at it. I'm assuming he just didn't want the car no more, and he made up what he can made up to get rid of it, and then I benefited. So maintenance wise, as you know, the car had a recall for the ECU because the ECU and the TCU, the transmissions computer, were supposedly didn't talk to each other right, didn't pass on some like error code or you know, an engine light wouldn't have came on if the transmission something happened with the transmission, and they had to correct that. So here's the test, the first test of if the car was really under factory warranty. So I get to the dealership and to go get my ECU memory rewritten, and first thing the service advisor does, you know, they pull up your VIN and he goes, your car's showing up as a branded title. And I'm like, oh man, the dude told me it was under warranty. But then I go, hold on, but I got the paperwork showing, and then I said, then I also faxed and activated my warranty like I was supposed to. Then he goes, it's no problem. Let me all I gotta do is make a quick phone call. So he calls up Infiniti Corporate, and they go, yes, that car is under full warranty. So they reprogram my ECU and have me out the door. And then next thing, maintenance wise, you know, I think I've done 3 oil changes so far. First oil change was with the 0W20 as they recommend. Then I went up to 5W30. I don't know if I'm gonna stay at 5W30 or not. Actually gonna do another video on that later, so look out for that video. And then at 30,000 miles, my car has about 32,000 miles on it now. In about a year, I put about 16,000 miles on it since buying it. And so at about 30,000 miles, I did a full driveline maintenance. I did the front differential. I changed the front differential fluid from, you know, regular dyno oil to full synthetic. And then I did the transfer case. So, you know, since I got the all-wheel drive car, I changed it from Matic J to Matic S, and Matic S is the synthetic version of Matic J. So I did a little bit of an upgrade on that fluid, you know, something for y'all to do, all-wheel drive people. It has better heat tolerance with the synthetic fluid. So I know y'all getting that heat error and the all-wheel drive error. You know, this is something that can help if y'all did. And then I changed out the rear differential fluid when the rear differential fluid is already synthetic. So I just put more synthetic in there. The rear differential fluid was full of shavings, and I was expecting that from it being a pretty new car. So, you know, a new differential getting broken in, it's going to have a whole bunch of shavings in it. So if you haven't already, change your rear differential fluid. I would definitely do that. And then the front differential, if you got an all-wheel drive car, it was very, very dirty, but it wasn't full of shavings. So you could probably not touch it. I mean, as far as Infiniti, if you look in, you know, the maintenance schedule, the differentials are just inspect. There's no change interval on it for some reason. But from looking at the front differential, you probably can get away with it with just inspect. But the rear, make sure you change that one. And if you want, just change that front differential at least one time and go ahead and upgrade it to something synthetic and be done with the front. And transfer case fluid was dirty also. I would change that at least once too, and just get it up to Matic S. Other than that, I know the other thing that is known about these cars is the belts. The serpentine belts were flying off of the, off the 16s all the way up to 18. You got 2018 cars with belts flying off. My car never experienced that at all. And, I'm not just a typical driver that just drive on the highway and back and forth to work. I actually do a little autocross, a little back roading, spirited driver, and constant accelerations and decelerations, tugging on that belt. And it never happened for me. But I did get like a squeaking noise out of the belt under acceleration. I could literally mimic it so second gear, 3,000 RPM, I can hear like a little squeak. As soon as it passed through 3,000 RPM, I would hear a squeak. And I took it to the dealer, and, of course, under warranty. My lemon is under warranty. They looked at it, and they told me it was probably the wastegates. And I'm just like, okay, and I didn't, checking forums and Facebook groups, I had same people saying the same thing. So I was like, all right, must be the wastegate. But then some months later, it's still doing it. And I finally brought it in again. I said, can y'all just change the belt? And they changed my belt under warranty for free. The squeaking noise is gone. So it actually was the belt. So if you hear that belt squeaking noise, it sounds like the belt on the Infiniti or the Q50, it probably is the belt. Other than that, I haven't really had any issues out of the car, and it starts up every day, everything works. Wait. Only other thing that happened was I got like the windows were rolling up a little slow. But they called themselves lubing the track on the window, and it was going up faster now. I don't know. I'm just going to keep watching it, like it's under warranty. So if it goes real slow again, I'm just going to go back to the dealer and have them check it out again. But yeah, so other than that, it's been pain-free, and that's been my experience with Infiniti in general, as the cars have not left me on the side of the road or anything, and my experience has just been flat tires and dead batteries. I mean, that counts as something, and or a self-inflicted wound, like my G37X, me, drifting it, in the snow and holding the steering wheel lock, and I blew out my power steering pump. But that was on me, so I can't count that as something. So I replaced the power steering pump. Other than that, these cars just been bulletproof for me. So that's another reason why I keep buying them, as you see. But yeah, no problems other than what I mentioned. I did the recall, and I got the belt changed on the car and done normal maintenance. So that's it. All right, hope that helps somebody.